You're
30.
watching Cable 2.
$15. 10 away. 5, 4.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shay Woodbury, Chair of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education. I would like to welcome all of you to our special call meeting to fill our board vacancy position. I do want to make special note that we are coming out of a closed session that sort of took us a little off our schedule, but we're back on for sure. But I wanted to make note that we were in closed before we came out. We may have to go back into closed. So I do want to say that again, from our last meeting, Dion talked about, based on state law and our bylaws, the appointment requirement is that the person is Republican and in District 2. And also just remind everyone that we voted as a majority to have an appointment process. And so with that being said, we'll go ahead and possibly have a motion.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion, and I would like to nominate Marilyn Parker. Marilyn has the right attitude for all our kids.
Before you go, I want to see if I can get a second.
I would like to second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion or comments?
Is Ms. Parker available tonight? Is she in the audience?
She is.
Okay, is it possible?
So what I would say is, since we were at the discussion with board member Calvert Hayes, she was going to make some remarks, and then afterwards, board member Burt, then you could go.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
I would like to mention some of Marilyn's accomplishments. Some of you may know she has served on our board before. She is experienced. She also has run for election, so she knows the process of that also. Marilyn has a BS Early Childhood and Elementary Education degree. She has a Master's in Education and Instructional Views. She's taught public school for 8 years in our county here. She's a preschool director for 33 years and presently working in that position. She was past PTA president, elementary and middle schools, volunteered weekly for past 20 years as a community volunteer for the past 14 years. And presently, I have been by Cook many, many times. And when we were going through the revitalization of Cook, Marilyn spent so many days and so much time reading to our Cook kids. I don't know how many years Marilyn has done that, but I can say Marilyn has been an asset to our turnaround schools. She was past president of the preschool educators, and she also has put 4 of her own kids through the Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools. She's an active member of Ardmore Methodist Church, and she teaches Sunday school there, and children she teaches there also, and works for her church. She's president-elect of the Ronaldo Rotary Club and president of the Beta Kappa Alpha Kappa International Honorary Organization for Women Educators. I can go on, but I don't want to bore y'all. But I think that Marilyn, when I look back, and we did have a lot of good applicants, but when I look back, I felt like Marilyn really, really stood out. And I feel like that she will be a good asset to our board. Thank you.
I'd like to also just talk about why I am so excited about having Marilyn Parker back on the board. when I was first elected 13 years ago, nobody expected me to win. Some other people have had that feeling. Marilyn reached out to me immediately and really did a good job of including me and helping me understand the job of a board member and of what the work was to do and how to do it with warmth, with grace, with caring for all the students in our district as well as the employees. Marilyn has always been concerned about the children, particularly children who are often forgotten. She tends to see all of our kids, and she's had as warm relationships with our staff as anybody I've ever known. So I am eagerly waiting for Marilyn to join us back on the board.
So is it possible to ask Ms. Parker a few questions?
So that's not a part of the appointment process, and of course we could not make Marilyn Parker come up and answer any questions. And so I know that Ms. Parker is in the audience, but she's up under no obligation to come up and ask any questions. Maybe Ms. Burke, possibly first, if you have any questions, and maybe some of the board members who know Marilyn can entertain some of those questions, could be an alternative.
Okay. Since she's not able to come forth and answer any questions, I don't have any for Mrs. Parker, but I will say that, of course, I've expressed my concern with the process. This is not the process that I voted for, but at the same time, Mrs. Parker, it is not, my concern is not with any individual candidate, not with you, it's just with the process only. I just want to make that clear. I also want to say that I appreciate Lida reading your information, Board Member Calvert Hayes, because that's information that I have not seen. It has not been shared with me. And we did ask that, and I think it was put in the paper, that anyone interested to please provide their information, their letter of interest or their resume to one of the board members, and the board members would share. And any that I have received, I have shared with other board members, and I just wish I had had that ahead of time, and I would have known everything about you that Lida just read. So since I can't ask any direct questions, that's all from me. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? I would just like to say that I took it upon myself after board members were interested in the appointment of Marilyn Parker to ask around, because I wanted to make sure that I was an informed voter. And what I heard about Marilyn Parker was that she was a moderate Republican. And so, you know, to us Democrats that matter, right? Just going to be very transparent with you. I heard that she was an independent thinker, that she would vote her own consciousness based on the good of children. And she know our children because she has worked here in our school system over at Cook Elementary. So I was very endeared to her experience in working in Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools. I heard that she had been very progressive about the African American Infusion Initiative, which I think is something that this board is definitely right now working on and trying to figure out that piece. But overall, I heard from former board members, I heard from former and current employees of this district, but especially in talking with the current board members, you know, I felt like I had been informed enough to be supportive of the appointment. So with that being said,
Chair,
yes.
before you conclude, I do have one more question. I do have a question that I could direct to you or Board Member Calvert Hayes or anyone who might be able to answer on behalf of Mrs. Parker. Do you know if she will be able to serve the full term?
I do not know that. I have not asked that, but you know, I'm not so sure if any of us up here can honestly say whether they're going to be able to fulfill the full term or not. There's sicknesses that get involved in a lot of things that happen in life. I wish I had a crystal ball up here, but I don't. So I cannot answer that question.
So is there a board member who can say whether or not in their conversation Ms. Parker committed to completing the full term?
I can't answer that question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So I need a motion now to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. We'll be back at 6:30.